world gone mad. Only a lunatic is truly insane.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm excited, man. Thank you, Christian, man. This is awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Welcome, Frankeyz, right? That's where you work at.
Frankeyz, thanks to
Frankeyz.
Brady, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's clever.
Yeah, we were just making music and he was saving a project file and then he put our names together, because he used my keys and then I sent him and then he's like, Frankeyz. Originally, I think it was Bomb Frankeyz. That was the beat title.
Okay.
And then I'm seeing the last portion of Frankeyz. I'm like, yo, that's hard. And then he's like, yo, take it. And then I asked him and he blessed me for it.
Right on.
Yeah, Brady, man. Shout out Brady's Bonafide.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Right on. So, how long you been making beats? Man,
I've been making beats, honestly, for quite a long time. Sorry to really put a number on it. If I had to, I'd probably say probably a good 8 years, 9 years now going in.
Right on. Yeah. Almost a decade.
Almost a decade, yeah. Because before I just been messing around on GarageBand and just always been exposed to music all my life. Just always been tampering and just seeing what sounds nice. Never, well, here and there, I've been going to music school. Got me into that at an early age, but it never really stuck right. It was always, they could tell it was not really genuine coming from it.
Okay.
It's more of oh, you had to be there because we paid for it. So eventually they stopped it because they didn't want to waste money because they knew I wasn't really into it. But besides that, after those lessons, I guess that's how I really got into it again, ironically. But yeah, and then from there, I just kept going. And then, yeah, I guess in the beginning, it was more of I remember using soundtracks. Of course, we're all into movies, but I was really keen into movie soundtracks growing up. So I use soundtracks often to really sometimes play along to it, or if not, just hearing out their chord progressions and trying to understand, okay, this is C or this is F going to that. That's me at 14, 13. And then realizing that my hands weren't really that big enough for it, then I realized I had to, get used to the muscle memory of getting used to the simple foundations of playing the keyboard, of just putting time into it over and over again. My dad had a Korg keyboard, I think P100.
Okay.
That's the model. I forget the name. Or P something 100, but it's a very old keyboard. I think he may have brought it from Africa when he was jamming with this band.
Really?
In Africa, yeah. He's been traveling with a lot of gears.
So your father was a musician?
Oh, yeah.
Is a musician.
Oh, there's a huge backstory from my family side. But yeah, my dad,
cool.
He's a musician himself. He plays the keyboard, he plays the guitar, plays the bass, he plays, maybe he might play the drums, but I know he plays the bongos and percussions. He can sing, and yeah, man, he's a one-man band almost, but
that's awesome.
Talented himself, yeah.
Does he give you a lot of input on you working on music?
Currently, no, because I understand what I want and how really to push things. But growing up, though, he had an influence just from him playing, because often we'd all go to a lot of African functions or gatherings or parties or birthdays or this or that, or even gospel events or concerts where he's playing music. So, and me seeing that and witnessing the setups and teardowns of the concerts or the festivals of him playing, just been it just really was really inspiring, but also motivative. Okay, if he can do it, I can too. And the funny thing is, he didn't really try to teach me to play the piano because he saw, and I guess he probably saw my determination from an early age. Whenever I'm determined to do something, I really just dive in and try to always get it done. Good. No matter the cost. So I guess him knowing that, he just exposed me more to gears, more to just more music sessions or just, a lot of music time, honestly.
That's awesome.
It helped to build up my passion and knowledge and at least just zeal and drive for it, and it just kept going.
That's awesome.
And even on my mom's side, she's a singer more. She sings. They met in the choir, to be honest. They have their own love story, but way long ago in Africa, as their kids, I forgot what age, but they met at a church. My dad was playing, I guess, the guitar or the keyboard in the choir for the church, and my mom was singing in the choir. And obviously, time led on, and started a date and so forth. So
very cool.
Really just brought us together. And it's in our blood. It's so passionate.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. So you said a church.
Yeah.
Are they Christian?
Oh yeah, background is Christian faith. Yeah.
Cool. Where are you from? Were you born here or
No.
you had immigrated? I
We
think.
immigrated here. I'm from Congo.
Okay.
Yeah, I think specifically Bukavu.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember, at least from the way my parents tell me, we moved here 2001,
Okay.
and coming there as immigrants, maybe refugees, but we lived in Vancouver first.
Right.
I think Burnaby right after we moved.
Okay.
A few months there, and then from Burnaby we moved into Ontario. We lived in Ottawa for a bit, and parents got their education. I think my dad finished off his what was it, humanitarians or something, I don't know, social worker. Yeah, he got his social workers diploma, maybe. I'm not really sure the certain level, but my mom, on the other side, my mom got her nursing degree and got her whole nursing license, and then we came back after their 4 or 5 years of education. We came back to Vancouver. We also started a ministry here as we came back. We started a church. We launched it in 2011 and still been doing that since.
Cool.
It's called Citywide Christ Chapel, CCC. But aside from that, yeah, they've been still working on their own careers while doing church at the same time.
Cool.
All their life, they've been exposed to church and they're really devoted, and they grew up. And we grew up in the same sort of realm of just having strong faith and being very connected as a family, and knowing and having just being spiritually alert and just living life just because you want to live the way you want to. So yeah, I have to admit, I'm very honored and blessed that at least I got exposed to that. Now living in my adulthood, or at least early years of it, experiencing the stuff that they kept telling me about is really just, wow.
Right.
Deja vu. So
yeah. Like the values and traditions.
Man. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. But sorry, not to really sidetrack too far off, but coming back towards it, yeah, after coming back and opening the ministry here after moving from Ontario, we then just established the living here, and we used to live in Richmond. We finished, at least went to high school in Richmond. I went to Palmer Secondary School, Burnett Secondary School, and US Secondary School as well. I'd still living in Richmond, going to New West, or no, my bad. It was the other way. I was living in New West, but going to school in Richmond still.
Okay.
Because I had the connection with my friends. I didn't want to really give them up. Eventually, I had to move because the commute was too much for me. But I did try for 1 year of living in New Westminster and still going to school in Richmond. The commute every morning was like an hour. So
yeah, that sounds
days,
hard.
It was crazy because sometimes I would get involved with basketball, so we'd have practice after school and then practice in the morning back to back. So I'm like barely getting sleep because I got a bus in the morning just to make it a practice, and then still got school to deal with and homework and going, and then working sometimes. Like I was still working in, like I used to work in IHOP while working in school. So like Burnaby, going to Metrotown. So I was all over the place at one point, like complete triangle. And I realized that was too much to deal with. So I had to cut a few hours off, or at least I cut off basketball because I knew I wasn't taking that seriously after high school. But so I only did that just to keep in shape.
Right.
Besides schooling, though, like, sorry, to really come back.
Oh, no, just go for it, man. Don't worry about getting off subject or anything.
Besides schooling, though, coming back to being here in New Westminster now, like we lived here since 2015, 16. And yeah, it's been great, honestly. Like throughout the cities we've been out and living in provinces, it's just been the perfect balance. Great people, great neighbors. The weather is nice, like it's both. But
you said New West is where you are?
New Westminster, yep.
That's I've known some people there since I moved here to Vancouver, and they honestly all do seem very community involved. Like the guys I knew were carpenters, and they, taught kids to play hockey. They're coaches, very involved with the community, very church involved and stuff too.
Yeah. It's definitely community based type of city, because I remember the first few years of moving there, we were invited to a lot of block parties, and we never had that, or I've never seen that. So I'm like, it was pretty shocked that they would allow, like, they literally block off the whole street. It would be allowed by the city because they would get it approved ahead of time.
Right.
So even like the police are aware of it. Like it's crazy. Like I was pretty surprised that at least like the community can do that, but it shows like there's really people out there who care for each other.
For sure. I've never seen anything like that before.
It was shocking, but I'm like, wow. At least I knew that we had good neighbors. Funny thing is, before that block party, we moved in right when I think like a homicide just happened like a block down.
Really?
So it was really, really just suspicious. Like, yeah, I guess I don't know.
Put
Things
you on
happen,
edge?
yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we moved in at that time. It was pretty edgy, but
Yeah.
we just got comfortable by the grace of God. Everything went well. And
Mm-hmm.
we've been living there ever since. Never had any issue or any relations like that. But it's just been great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What type of Christianity do you guys practice?
We believe in the Trinity of like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
At most, that's like I understand your question, and I understand like there's a certain like I don't want to say Anglican Christian or
Okay.
Roman, but like that's my mistake, even not knowing the difference of at least.
Oh,
so,
no worries, no worries.
Yeah.
But I've seen many churches named Trinity Church and stuff like that where I'm from. I myself was brought up Lutheran.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is was pretty interesting. It's a very interesting history of that sect of Christianity where Martin Luther was the first person to think that everyone should get a Bible and be able to interpret it.
Okay.
So, which caused a lot of chaos for a long time. But so it's a really it welcomes people to practice Christianity in a lot of different ways. It's kind of very vague almost.
I see. I see.
But not that we were particularly, my family I wouldn't say is especially religious. It was more a community thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think even my family members would know anything about the history of where Lutheranism comes from and stuff. But, you know, they went on Sundays and stuff.
No problem. I've noticed just a difference of I don't mean this in any like racial way, but
Sure, no.
I've noticed the difference between Western Christianity obviously the cultures are different, but Western church Western church compared to like churches in not only South but even Africa or any other church. It's very like at least everyone's practice are different, but I don't know. I feel like it's more genuine. I shouldn't say more genuine, but from what I've seen, it's been more genuine. Like at least within the fellowship and practice and the events that take place. Like it's more like what I mean genuine by like it's no one's paying you to be a pastor, no one's paying you to be evangelist, nothing's being funded to do evangelism versus us getting together and using our own money and time to do the same work. That's what I mean of genuine, because I've seen a lot of like I'm not one to judge or even to really to have authority to speak on, but just I've been seeing just an odd pattern of like a good genuine believer or a strong person in faith versus someone who's just there for like the community and like just for the not really the fame, but you know, just for the fellowship and just feel like they're welcome versus someone who's really like who really wants to know Christ, who really wants to like be serious with their life and be devoted. I don't know. I guess probably that's the spectrum of religion, like those people who are serious versus those who are casuals. I guess I don't know.
No, I absolutely know what you mean. And you mean specifically here in the West, do you feel like it's a little more diluted? Like it's about the institution, not the faith.
Definitely, yeah. It's more business, yeah.
Yeah, business, yeah, for sure.
I don't know, man. But honestly, I can't complain. Like, I'm happy to be here in the land. So, like, it's not holding me back to practice my faith. My parents we're still trying to at least keep our own roots of our Christian beliefs. Not only just being African with it, but like doing it the way we used to do it, at least my parents when they grew up. Because they're coming from like 4 or 5 hours church sermons, 2 or 3 hour prayers, like serious, like church work.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Like it's no work. It's not like a job. It's people are very serious. So coming here, it's a huge shift. So we had to get used to that. Like people not taking it as serious as we are. It's okay. Like we can't force anyone to really do much. We can't force you to come to church, or we can't force you to open a Bible or anything. So, we just look at it just wow, the authenticity is really lacking. But at the end of the day, though, that's not in our hands to really control or.
No, I agree. I see the exact same thing. And I had even been learning about the philosopher Soren Kierkegaard. and he described the same thing in Denmark many centuries ago, a few centuries ago or so. And he had a huge criticism of that everybody came to practice Christianity in his community in a way that it wasn't true to the actual values of Christianity. It became the values of the church instead. And I thought it was a really deep observation.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, and we've heard stories of like pastors manipulating with offerings, taking money from this, that, like or them expecting a salary. Like it's crazy. Like my dad in particular, like, I respect him a lot because he sacrificed like a good 6-8 years of not being employed, still doing church work. So for him to do that, that really just showed like, wow, there's really people who are really serious and devoted to be doing what they're doing versus people who are just trying it out and then quote unquote, oh, I'm a retired pastor and this, that. Like, I don't think it's, especially in that position, I don't think it's something you can really retire from. Like,
yeah, I understand that.
No, that's something you really have to be serious with. It's not like a hobby or a career, or can't really pick it at UBC or BCIT, you know? So.
Yeah, I feel like you're describing that it was very much so a labor of love, or is a labor of
100%,
love.
100%, yeah.
Very cool.
100%. But my bad, I didn't mean to be all religious or...
Oh, no, I welcome it. I'm very interested in religion and spirituality and stuff myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I welcome it.
That's great.
So you've recently set up a studio?
100%,
Yeah, tell me about it, dog.
Man, this studio is called Multiverse. Shout out Jacob Malander. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just playing with my headphone case.
Yeah, no worries, dog.
I'm trying to feed it more so I can have more leeway on my left side. But shout out Jacob 2K, Jacob 2000, 40 actually. I call him 40. Yeah, we launched a studio called Multiverse, and it's a studio in East Vancouver. We started this year. It's on Hastings. It's on Franklin near Hastings. And yeah, man, we personally been there for the last 4 or 5 years, just like on our own time, because I got access to that studio because of my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes by Kid Filthy.
Okay.
Shout out Miko.
Plug him.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny thing is, he got access to that studio because people just found out about his music.
Okay.
Just thought he was dope. So like they gave him studio time and they believe in him. So for the longest time, he's never been paying for his time there. And he knew that I was still into music and in the keys. And eventually I had to put my time in. It wasn't just like he's bringing me there for fun. He wasn't wasting time. I respect his grind. He really kept committed. And it pushed me to get serious with my work, for me to be there to watch him do his work, because it showed me how serious it takes to at least to build the craft that he was making, or at least the results of music in general. But yeah, having saying that though, we've been there for a long time, for the last 4 or 5 years, just on our own, making music. But now 2022, it's been just full on, just we're pushing it for clientels, managing it and meeting people face to face and clients, of bringing them for recording sessions. And yeah, making beats and just networking eventually, and meeting more clients and collaborating with more studios. And just starting something. We don't really know. Like, it's been really spontaneous. We have a lot of stuff. Like, we have good marketing and good photos that we've been building and working on that we really want to push out to, and even websites and etc. But like a lot of the work that we've been receiving lately has just been word of mouth and just been coming naturally without even zero promotion. So we're taking advantage of that 100% right now, and trying to at least prepare ourselves for more work to come once we push out what we intended to do of ad marketing, of getting your name and branding and networking, etc. So right now it's just a snowball, man. It's a snowball effect. Things are going well by the grace of God. I'm thankful. But yeah, we're studio in East Vancouver, Multiverse.
Right on, man. What's the studio's name?
Multiverse Studio.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that name.
Jacob, he thought of
right on.
Name, yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I was looking at the profile you guys have on Instagram. It looks extremely professional. Thanks, it looks good.
Yeah. Thanks. We're trying to get more photos up and running there, but for now, yeah, we're trying to just focus on the craft. Where we're not really we don't get too focused on social media because we really want the music to do the talking. Because yeah, we've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
the typical stereotypical of studio vibes of someone just constantly like panning to showing that they're in the studio, and then you check out the music, it's trash. So
Mm-hmm.
we never wanted to have that vibe at all. It's always been just we're getting in there, we're cooking up, we're trying to grind. There's gonna be days of we're not releasing something despite we're in there for 2 3 hours. But then again, that's the craft. We can't expect every day to be a banger. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the love that keeps us coming back, of trying to always go in with good intentions and praying that the results are gonna be the same.
Mm-hmm.
But as well, yeah, man, we always try to be just genuine, not with ourselves, but even with the collaborators that we've met,
Mm-hmm.
and all just trying to be just more, yeah, just a in-house collective of production as well. Like we're doing our own mixing and mastering. Soon enough, we'll be doing our own camera work and photography, and yeah, and slowly just build our own team like that. Since we have our studio space at Multiverse.
Right on, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. It looks really good. I
thanks.
see it taking its own form, eh? That's what's happening. It's really
100%.
just coming into itself.
100%, because we're trying to bridge the market of the high-end studios and the home studios.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely that's you. There's a niche there that you probably could even tell within Vancouver, because Vancouver, we don't have much. It's either the really high ends or it's your buddy's home studio.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it's having being there on my own time years back before we even brought clients or did anything that serious. Just it kept reminding me, I'm like, man, I got to do something like this. I got to do something like this. And I thought it would be somewhere else of just opening a different studio and starting from scratch, because STA really like inspired that idea, especially through the work that we did of like actually building a studio on a budget and all that,
Mm-hmm.
etc. for the homework. But yeah, like I'm happy at least we got that exposure, because it made it more feasible and it made it at least more like realistic, because you're seeing the
Mm-hmm.
numbers, you're seeing how much this costs, you're seeing the measurements of X, Y, Z, or how many speakers or cables or what you need to really put the picture together. So
Totally.
and then that really reverted what I already had. Like it really scrapped, like I had a whole like good plan that I was trying to like at least work towards, and seeing like how many jobs or what I have to do to make enough money for. But then again, being that diligent was good, but it made me just almost forget of like where the studio I was already going to for X amount of years. And then
Right.
I sat down with Jacob and we just chopped it up. I'm like, yo, let's just push this, bro. We've been here for so long. COVID is about to drop.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time, because if we wait any time after this, there's already be people already established and busy with clients. It'll be hard to already fight over that market that's already been saturated. So
Totally.
at least we had a good, like, it's unfortunate we all went through COVID. I was never praying for that, but COVID really helped us like come back, and like even though we're a brand new studio, like we're still steady growing and spreading, because people are now interested of being outside more, being outdoors,
Mm-hmm.
being more collaborative, and yeah, just looking for a studio
Mm-hmm.
besides their own room or a high-end expensive studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So it synced up really well with networking, the decline of COVID, and the starting of the studio.
100%, like
Right on.
ironically, like I can't plan it any better, but everything is just in God's hands, and I'm thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, timing is everything.
Definitely is.
Right on.
That's how I've always respected time. I do my best to arrive at certain places where I'm set to be at certain times, but especially with music work, I never try to rush it as well. Like I really don't. If I have to work extra weeks or extra hours, I wouldn't mind, or overnight, I wouldn't mind, because at the end of the day, I see it like, at least for my mixing input or from my production sides as an audio engineer, I like to work on something until I can't put more input into it. That's when I know it's done. And I set certain standards for it. It's not like going in there and every day I'm just trying to just tamper with it, seeing what's coming out. If it's for myself, I set myself my own standard. If it's for the artist, I see their standards of what they want, and I'm going towards that. If I've achieved all of that and still like manage to produce, manage to mix or whatever the task is at hand, manage to do within my ways of Frankeyz, then I'm satisfied. Yeah.
Right on.
Despite the time, or if I'm time still, I can still get it done. But for my personal work, I always like to take the time and just have things just going out naturally, and when it's finished, it's ready, and just launch it.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, when I was younger and stuff, you record some tracks, make some beats. I found I used to be in such a rush to just put things out, throw it on SoundCloud or whatever. And
Same with me. Same with me.
it was the wrong move,
I
I
was
feel
the
now.
opposite, man. Growing up, I used to have a SoundCloud often. I was uploading a lot more, to be honest, since you mentioned that. But yeah, and I'm the opposite now, though. I guess everyone has to go through that like music learning curve of just finding yourself as an artist, seeing what sound really works for you. That's why you're really just pushing out all those beats, maybe, or all those songs. That's what I've viewed it. I don't know. It could be different for others, but yeah, like finding your sound is important. You got to really know what you want first before you're really sharing it with others, because I got, at least that's where I look at it. You, if it's not satisfying yourself, then why are you putting it out? So
Straight up. Yeah, you got to be happy with it,
100%.
or it's not ready.
Yeah, it's never hurts to go back to the drawing board, man. Just because everyone's gonna keep listening to it. The more time you spend into it, the more time they'll spend into it. So
I think that's true.
yeah,
It's a good
that's how
observation.
music that are diamond records are 10 times platinum, 5 times platinum. At times it could be just a spontaneous session of them going back to back, spitting fire or producing crazy hits. But at most, it's someone engineering or mixing for hours. But then the work is there.
Yeah, really slaving over it, right?
Definitely. Like, shout out the Night Owls. Shout out to those, the unsung producers, the unsung heroes. The unsung, not all heroes wear capes or get a Grammy like that on the board, but
Straight up.
they're there.
This is like a pussy beer. I don't.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't drink at all, to be honest.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask.
all good.
Don't really anymore. I haven't in
No
years. This
problem.
is just I just like these. They're good.
Cheers, man. Drinking with the water. Nick gave me this Pro Tools water bottle.
Oh man, badass.
Man, you should hit him up. Get him. Yeah, let's see.
Nick, Guru Nick.
Yeah, Guru Nick. Shout
Right,
out.
yeah.
And it's Melodies. There you go.
Yeah.
Nick Guru.
He's supposed to be on the show soon.
He mentioned to me like when I got the microphone, but yeah. I thought it would be here today. I was sort of surprised he mentioned that you guys are working together. I'm like, yo, see you there. He's like, nah, I'm a week after you or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Very
Like
helpful.
He helped me a lot. Like, he taught me a lot. And also his work ethic of him coming from Chilliwack to North Van. Jeez, bro.
Oh yeah.
Can't
Takes
imagine.
it seriously.
Like, he's super serious. I was thinking that going to SC because I was coming from US, 2-hour transit. It still takes time to get to SC, but when I heard that he was coming from Chilliwack, I'm like, all right. Then I really told myself I shouldn't complain. There's been days it's been tough, but every time I mention or think like I'm not doing enough, I always think about Nick. So that always just fuels me and just keep pushing. Like, there's always someone doing 10 times more work when you feel like you're not doing enough.
It's true.
Yeah, so
It's true.
just do your bare minimum or do your best.
Yeah, I felt like it was pretty difficult to go to North Van from here a lot of the time in school. Like, I felt like it was quite the journey, but it's compared to even Jano. I don't know if he's still teaching at SAE.
He's online more.
Okay, but yeah, him too. He's coming from Chilliwack, I believe, and it's like, man,
Like, he came out once and I was surprised, but yeah, even Sam coming from like the islands, even like people are coming from all over the place, but it shows this music just really, music is just really like almost, this doesn't matter where you are, it can really bring us together. The people who are willing to come down from wherever they are. So it's really nice how music can just bring us together like that.
Yeah, you see how serious everybody at that SAE Institute
SAE is
takes
like
it.
a magnet. It's a creative magnet. Like, it's great. I'm fortunate enough. It's honestly been a great blessing of going there. It's meeting the people, even people like you.
Yeah.
It's been crazy, man. Like, man, it's great. Yeah. SAE, man. Life changer indeed.
Yeah, I would say even in the time I've lived in Vancouver, I've probably met the majority of my friends through SAE.
Wow.
In some way.
How long have you been living out in Vancouver?
Getting into the third year, maybe 3 years. I came for a long trip at first, and then I wanted to move here after experiencing the weather.
Nice. Where are you coming from?
Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Wow, Thunder Bay, man.
Cold.
I remember that. Yeah, it's cold. And I remember Terry Fox run or something was going on in Ottawa at the time. Before he passed away, because I remember as elementary, he was doing this Terry Fox run coming by every city. He was coming by Thunder Bay, Ontario. But wow.
Yeah, we got a monument. I think that was where his journey ended somewhere towards after Thunder Bay.
I think so, yeah, because he starts like, yeah, that's a crazy journey. Just I'm trying to look at your map behind you, but
Oh, it's ever that's the Soviet
we're on the wrong
Union.
side, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't mean to get too politics of that.
It's outdated as well. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. It looks nice. I like the vintage.
That's what it is. It's from the 40s. That's my girlfriend's mom bought it for me. I was reading a lot of Soviet Union history
Nice.
about Stalin and
Yeah.
all those lunatics and
Yeah.
so she asked if I wanted it and I thought it was a great gift. I love it.
That's nice. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts of what's going on right now, though? Mentioning like Russia and
With the Ukraine and stuff.
yeah.
Well, it's very complicated, right? I see what's going on. I have some concerns to do with I guess also rallying for war concerns me at any time. And you've seen a lot of people who would describe themselves as anti-establishment very quickly, I feel like, become pro-war against Russia in the Ukraine, which of course the invasion is bad. They're going into a sovereign nation. But I've seen that there's one of the 3 military units they have in the Ukraine is the Azov Battalion, and they are something of a neo-Nazi movement, and this is one of the things being funded and propelled to fight off the Russian invasion. So I guess I look at it kind of like we do through the scope when we look at Afghanistan, and we used extremists to fight off the Russians then, and that ended up going terribly. It put Osama bin Laden in a more powerful position, and it resulted in 9/11. So I think it is a lot of people are brushing over the conversation of who we're supporting to fight off Russia in this instance.
It's funny how that comes full circle now.
Feels like the Cold War never ended sometimes.
Literally, like one person action just can still have a huge effects decades down the road. So crazy.
Yeah, and then it is just a matter of you don't know what to believe. You see so much. I feel like there's so much disinformation on both sides that everybody's trying to rally for their war effort and any support they could get.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Scary, honestly, in certain parts. Like a lot of people are losing housing because of it or losing living. Can't really. They're being cut off just because of what's going on, even though they're not really involved. Sucks. Yeah.
You see all the things that happen in consequence of the war, right? Like even our gas prices getting insane.
Bro, 100%. Like, little stuff like that. Like the collateral damage, what's the word? The ricochet of the thing that's happening around that. A lot of people, at least those who are in charge of the power, they never, I guess, I don't know if they even think about that, but it's neglected, as you can tell by their actions, but it's crazy.
Yeah, or I feel like sometimes the public is coerced, right? Like even I was watching a video of someone get arrested for putting a sticker on a gas pump on something to do with the war with Ukraine, and they were getting arrested for it, and I thought that was insane. Yeah, it was in California, which is a bit of a crazy state these days.
Dang.
But yeah, and then there is all the talk of, I guess I could see the reasons that it looks like Russia was having their toes stepped on for a long time. The U.S. backed the new government that was put in place in 2014. And then since then, they built a lot of, they play a little bit of word blending with it. Like there's biolabs there's about 25, but then they try to like manipulate it and be like, well, there's nothing to worry about in those labs. But all I can think is if Russia was building biostudy labs in Mexico and was saying to the U.S. like, oh, don't worry about it, it's no big deal, there's no way the U.S. would take their word for that.
True.
So
True.
It seems somewhat provoked over a long period of time. Not that Putin isn't a dictator and it isn't an invasion of a sovereign nation and all that. Like, you know what? I guess I'm just saying, with all the things that we reflect on the American government doing to rally support for wars that we look back on as unjustified now, we should be really critical of the stance we take.
100%. And you've being said that, I think right now, our age, is good to be aware excuse me, it's good to be aware of that because like we're citizens at the end of the day. We have power of our votes or our rights. So being aware of how politics and how our governments are turning or doing or at least saying is good to be at least 1 year in. I don't know. I'm not really invested in politics. Politics is a bit much for me, but I know I can't just say no or like just neglect it or just be quiet about it. I have to still be aware of knowing what the even the mayor gonna what he has to say at times, what the mayor's gonna say, or even prime minister or whatever where I'm at the time. So
Yeah.
to be at least involved.
Yeah, I understand being not overly interested in politics for sure, but I think you're right in which it
Just to know, like, to know who to vote upon, to not to give a high, high tax or a high gas or something,
at some point it's gonna affect your life personally.
literally.
Yeah,
Like,
at
it's
some
gonna
point.
come down. And
Yeah.
gonna say because you voted for him, and you're gonna think back to it, like, yeah, you just never knew. So
Yeah, and then even I know some people who think like, well, it's never my fault because I don't vote, and it's like, well, that's basically voting for whoever wins.
yeah, no votes is literally neutral at that point.
Yeah.
Right, because they're just not gonna count it, and no one and tiebreaker sources like that or scenarios like that. So
Yeah.
man, yeah, it's a lot to take in as we're getting, at least we're maturing in our adulthood, because at least our parents dealt with it with their time, but at least this time is more modern and more technology and more like advanced.
It's
So
changing a great deal, right?
changing. Less newspaper interactive, more of tablets, more of digital. So like yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to come with new regulations. And I think it's important to have a public discussion on what regulations we want the government to
Privacy,
have
bro.
and not have. Yeah,
True.
I think in Canada right now, we have a great deal of that discussion being written off. There's a lot of bills that are being pushed to censor the internet in Canada.
Yeah, there's too much censorship in Vancouver. I'm not
Well,
not in Vancouver.
yeah.
But in Canada as a whole, we're getting it a little, not to say soft, but like it's a bit sensitive. Because even I remember reading I remember reading an article a couple of weeks ago of them giving, or I think passing a bill of like of children having their own rights of changing their sex, of them changing for them being a boy to a girl, despite their own parents or any guardians of still being their parents and guardians of watching over them. Like kids have their own rights. If they feel like they're not they're not their gender, they have the right to change it. I felt that was a bit overboard of having at least that right at that age. Like I don't know if you heard that. But
No, I know
was
what you're
crazy.
talking about because even I think it is. We're becoming really draconian with the measures and the endorsement of
Like
the far left's gender ideology, which it's just. I personally, I have a lot of controversial stances on the matter, but with the kids. One of the arguments I've heard, I look into what lots of experts say on the matter, but if you take a young enough kid that doesn't really understand the difference between a boy and a girl, and then you say if you feel like a girl, you might be a girl, that doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't.
It's a concept. It's literally an idea in their head, and the next day they forget about it. That's people keep forgetting. Like, oh, we should take their word for stand. We gotta adjust to the lifestyle. Like, no, it's not that thorough. Like, they're kids. They have a phase.
That and it's changed a great deal in which the way it used to be, if somebody was a really gender dysphoric individual, you'd have to see a lot of experts. You'd have to have different professionals working together and all saying, okay, we think this is what's best for you. This is going to help you to do that. And it's become more and more lenient to the point that younger and younger people are just ushered through these permanently life-changing operations or hormone treatments. And,
Definitely.
it seems silly to trivialize because I think, or I see, like, as a matter of fact, I definitely see people who are harmed by it. There are people who say that they have done things they wish they could undo in the name of being ushered through the system of gender transition way too easily. And even if there's people it helps, the whole point is supposed to generally be helping people in general. So why would we write off the people who say they've been harmed by this process?
Yeah, the repercussions on it is very. It's life lasting. Honestly, like people, at least those who have made those choices of doing what they did. I don't know if they really saw the future of that, or it could even foretell that. So
Well,
at the end of the
exactly.
day, I think it falls on the guardian, the parents, especially if you're like at least under 18 to really want to be a transgender.
Mm-hmm.
Like above, like after 18, you can be your own self. You're an adult, so
Yeah.
like anything within that ballpark.
Well, at least it gives you a window that
Yeah.
hopefully the person can comprehend even what they're doing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
you're right. True. Yeah.
like wanting to give hormones to somebody who's, let's say, like throw a number out, 13,
Yeah.
right? It's just the fact of that you could be rendered permanently infertile if given the right hormone replacement.
100%.
It's like a young girl might think like they never want to have kids, but so many people reflect on what they thought at 13 and they go, man, had no idea what I was
Literally.
talking about.
Literally.
I do about every thought I
Yeah,
had at
man.
13.
Same thing when I was 6, 7, 13. Like I wanted to become a police officer. Here I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like, come on, people can't take that. Yeah, at least at being at a young age, like that's so serious. I feel like it's a bit too, like, I don't know if it's good that kids have power and have rights here and a freedom of speech to say and have rights and being respected as that. But then again, I think it should be at least monetized, or at least not monetized, but at least like
Monitored.
there you go, monitored more, because we shouldn't be letting them be exposed to those life-changing experiences so early, because they're still developing themselves at the end of the day. Like there's still, some might be going through puberty, who knows, but like yeah, man, they're still kids and developing. So I feel like we're a little too lenient up in north up here.
Yeah, I see a lot of concerning policies in Canada personally, the censorship, and then even things going on in education in which they're starting to make, I guess, one stance on an issue such as this. I feel like is in the works of being politically enforced in the education system, where it's starting to be,
100%.
and you see the counter response with states like Florida wanting to say, well, now you have to wait till the kids in grade 3 to tell them about gender ideology.
100%.
But now everybody wants to like demonize Florida for doing something that I think is to protect children personally.
Well said on that, because even now the education's changing because of that, because they're introducing new like sex classes, or like even there's been sex ed for every education, but now there's new categories of like bi and like, or transgender, or this, that. They're just exposing them purposely without even their own interest. I feel like that is unnecessary, because unless someone's trying to understand themselves and want to know, it should be the council. They should be the one approaching it, not you, like being a course at school. Oh, you want to learn about this? Because if it's been implemented within my little brother's school, of them,
I know people who say that they see it in it. Like I have friends who are teachers and
100%,
stuff, and they say it's concerning.
No, it is. Yeah, like we've seen my little brother. He got, I think last year or 2 years ago, he got a note from his elementary school saying, "Oh, we're introducing a new sex ed trans class, trying to teach the kids about being openly gay or this, that." Obviously, being African, raised with my parents, they don't tolerate any of that. So they just.
And Christian, right? Both.
Even before we mentioned the faith, like, just, unfortunately, where I'm from, they don't really tolerate any of gays or transgender. Like, you have to know who you are from birth. Either if it's your parents changing your gender, then that's the case. But yourself is really not, because you were given that gift. Not really. I don't know. It's really hard to say, but.
Well, I also think that we've blurred the line to a crazy degree where, of course, people were persecuted for, say, being a homosexual or something.
Yeah.
And then we went from, making sure that we're not encouraging hate crimes as a society to all of a sudden telling children that they can be whatever they want to an unreasonable degree, because you see it even escalate into there's these transracial people, and then there's people who say they're a different age throughout the day. Like it's getting to an absurd identity crisis in society.
Honestly, it is like well put, because anyone can be anyone any day at that point. Because like you can call me they tomorrow, but I want to be called him now. So like you can't really decide. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it is concerning.
It's hard to please everyone. I feel like that's just our human nature. We're always trying to like please everyone. Everyone wants to be happy. We're just so unsettled. We always want something. We always want more. I guess just that's embedded with our just human gene.
Yeah, and it seems then like we take this is I feel like how you kind of watch cultures or civilizations decline, right? They hit a peak and then through luxury they start to create new problems. That's what some people say. They observe this gender occurrence happening in history, like it had happened in the Roman Empire and Egypt, where there was a cultural fixation on gender, but towards the end of these civilizations peaks. And some people say it's because the quality of life gets high, you have less struggle enforced upon you, and then you start to look for problems and controversy.
Well said.
As a
I
culture.
think that's true because if you're getting used to something, you always want to do something. You would do anything to do something new if you're getting too comfortable with it. So.
Yeah, that's where I think we want a degree of challenge in our lives as human beings. I think it's our nature. And
Yeah, I agree.
that's where I think a big thing that's coming around in the West right now, much like in Russia in the 1800s, is the utopian idealism. Everybody likes to imagine a perfect world.
No, that will never exist.
It's dangerous.
Perfect world is dangerous because 7 billion people getting along is never going to happen.
Unless it's extremely authoritarian, right? Like because we all have differences in beliefs, cultures,
Unless
things that
no one
we're
can
okay
die,
with.
then that's how we're getting along. That's the only way I see the world literally functioning. If somehow we can't physically die, 'cause there's just so much, like, people are just, we're so different, man. Like, there's no one, we can't get along. Like, there's always going to be a certain group of people for your own taste, for your own specific needs, for your own wants. There's always an audience. There's always a crowd there for you. So for us to get along, no, that's, I don't know. Maybe if someone did a spell with Doctor Strange or something, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah, but it would take something magical, I think, very
100%,
literally.
That's what I'm trying to say. Definitely.
Yeah, and you do see in history a lot of bloodshed in the name of utopias and, you know, a new superior system that's going to teach the world a new, more beneficent way.
Might be like that sort of currency that's trying to shape a utopian world.
Really?
Because that's one of the currencies, at least, that's threatening the banks heavy.
Well, that's what I feel like. It's actually the opposition, like it's the anarchistic alternative, because governments have been talking a great deal about digital currency coming, which will be something like the Canadian government's equivalency of Bitcoin, except for they monitor it all. But it's slowly happening. It sounds kind of crazy, but there are things like, have you heard of the World Economic Forum?
No.
This is a think tank that influences world governments. They are very openly, very open about the fact that they have a big connection with the Trudeau government.
Okay.
And they talk a great deal about implementing digital currency, social credit-like things.
Yeah.
And they're very concerned about crypto. They warn against it. They warn that we have to censor the internet because we're all going to be at risk. The next pandemic's going to be online after COVID.
It definitely is, because look what they learned from COVID. Every company is going to at least have some form of online adaptability despite an XYZ, a pandemic or a life crisis, what happened. COVID's teaching everyone new things and new stuff to prepare ahead of time, because no one, I think, if we ever lived through something like this beforehand.
Yeah, it's been a long time. No one alive right now has been through.
Yeah, no one alive now. It's like, thinking back to it, it's kind of scary that we did it, but like, hey, it's in our timeline. Like, it's part of our life now.
But I do worry that I guess that they instill the idea of utopian idealism with, it feels like a cult of health and safety sometimes. Like it's like, oh, it's in your best interest. It's in your best interest. And we're slowly giving away our privacy. I
feel like, they're definitely masking it with like, it's just intuitive. It's just more immersive versus like, we're going to intrude your personal privacy. Like, we're gonna know your postal codes. We'll be selling your digital, like, your digital address. I forget, there's a term for it where
your IP.
Well, not just IP, but there's a term for it where online, like, I think it's your receipts or cookies or something you leave digitally every time you search or you browse.
Right.
forget, but there's a term that whenever you're on someone's site, specifically if it's well monitored, the company can know like how many times you've been on it or what you've been searching for. And they can sell that information to a different brand,
Right.
or to sell it to someone else to know what you're looking for, and then hopefully the next time you're on their site, they have what you're looking for. So it's weird. Like I was quite surprised. Like there's really an underground like world that's happening like that on top of the digital world. Like
Yeah, and I think
really
that's that. So something the World Economic Forum advocates for is that they're going to have this new system called stakeholder capitalism, in which corporations, the public, and the governments will all blend. And that's where I think, that is what they think. It's going to be something, and it's going to be more fair, is the promise in it. Yeah, I don't think
one
so.
person under the ring, more fair.
Yeah,
It's like ICBC all over again. It's never fair with them. So
yeah. It sounds to me, it sounds like the new communism.
100%.
Yeah, but they.
I don't want that bill to get passed. I don't want them to get ever.
Well, I think they do it incrementally, right? Like right now, it is the things like one of the things we have trying to censor the internet in the name of, they do it in the name of hate speech. But then my worry is that they get to define what hate speech is.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's always that definition that they're basing from. Oh, we don't want to, because they're going to ask them, well, what's your reason? What's define hate speech?
Yeah.
And then they're going to use their own orchestrated samples or orchestrated definitions of them persuading whoever they're trying to get that bill to license, and then boom. Oh yeah, up to you. I didn't know we can do it on air.
Yeah, I don't mind.
It's your place, bro. This is your house. Pleasure, man.
Right on.
Pleasure, man. I would take a picture of you while working, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
That's chill.
For sure, brother.
Do you mind if I take one without ganja just for your business?
Oh yeah, for sure,
and then
man.
one with it.
Yeah.
Just for the homies. I like getting both.
Yeah.
Cause he. Oh shit! Hold on. The battery's not even inside. So maybe. But I like keeping it both. There's definitely time for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Then again, you gotta have two sides to every story. Oh man, this is crazy lighting in this room.
Yeah, I got a few going.
It's nice though, not in a bad way. Oh, hold on, we don't need the flash. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he hard at work or barely working? I'm kidding.
That's right.
He's working. He's focused. Nice, bro.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get busy after. Sorry.
Oh, no worries, man.
Just you look. There's a good shot that I just had in mind.
There you go.
Thanks, bro.
Not a worry.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, I guess it seems like there's a big effort to stop even discussions on these subjects from being had. I feel like in the mainstream, you hear a lot of, you should only have this opinion and don't ask questions about it.
100%.
And that worries me. I think that's always a bad sign.
It's definitely
yeah.
It leads to like dictatorship and someone trying to be controlling and being responsible. Not responsible, but just to being the one trying to like move pieces like a chess game or like a checker game. So it's from what I've seen with the world, it never leads to a good end.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that never last forever. So it's best off just to at least let do with what we have and at least try to make it better versus just trying to let someone else deal with everything that we have going on. It's best to like still join hands, and I know working together is almost impossible with other nations and especially politics. So,
but doing your best, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely doing your best counts versus someone just giving it all to them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
I do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's like you got to do your part as an individual to maintain the community, right? It's 100%. A balance of personal responsibility and helping others.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Oh, for sure, dog. Yeah. Have you seen any of these videos coming out of China?
Of what?
Of their COVID lockdown and isolation right now? It's crazy.
Right now? Isolation? What the hell, bro?
Yeah, it's been like a month or two, but I saw some videos. They got bags of cats. Well, so they were putting cats in
Yeah.
bags. I think dogs too. They're like they can breathe in them.
Okay.
They're like mesh bags.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think to force the animals to isolate.
Oh, what? Oh, so it's like a hazmat portable like.
Yeah, it's just
I-
it looks screwed up. I don't know exactly what they're going for, but it's
Yeah.
just a mesh bag. It's like a laundry bag full of cats. Like they're full of cats and they're just sitting on the sidewalk. It looks insane.
Sidewalk. Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be in like a nice building or facility.
Oh
It's just on
no.
the street like
And then there was another video where there's skyscrapers of
Yeah.
people all
Yeah.
screaming at the top of their lungs outside. They've been in isolation, I think, a month, 2
Really?
months straight, and people are going, my mom lives
crazy.
across town. You won't let me see her. She
Yeah.
has no food.
Really?
Like people are starting to say they're starving. They have no food. They can't go out. They won't let them do anything.
That's
But
unfortunate.
it's crazy.
You don't even hear that on the news or anything. Like, there's none of that. It's just been Ukraine, Russia, or like local weather, or someone getting stabbed locally.
Yeah.
The news is really. That's why I really just tune off. Like, I try to stay in tune with certain apps that keep me in tune with city news and what I want to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know every day, of course, there's someone's gonna be killed and someone's being born. And that's just life.
Yeah, there's a lot of they profit off negativity.
100%.
Yeah.
They use fear as like a tactic. Like, when
Oh, yeah.
them scared. Okay, they're gonna trust us to know what to do.
People watch more news when it's when something scary is going on, right?
100%,
Like
100%.
COVID was
Oh,
good for the media for sure.
COVID, there was a lot of billionaires were a lot of billionaires were made because of COVID. I remember reading an article saying,
Yeah.
at least in Canada, there's like 4 or 5 new billionaires versus like
Really?
6 or 7 that we used to have before COVID.
Really?
It just shows just some weird propaganda. Of who knows if, because I remember there's one company that's invested with like the Rob Ford, what's his, that's with. And there's a company that's behind Rob Ford with his politician campaign thing that he has
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on. I know he's invested a company that makes masks, and he specifically recommended Parliament to use that brand
Really?
for the first mask mandate of sending them out to everyone. So look at that, bro.
No, you see it
Instantly,
everywhere.
It's a full circle of like, all right, you need a mask. Here's my guy. They upscale the prices, ramp it up, and then just making him money because they're making the rules for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, and you saw it so much in America, right? Like with in California, the governor closing all these businesses, saying no one could work, but then keeping his own businesses, his
literally,
own
yeah.
wine
Oh man, yeah.
winery stays open while he's closing all the others.
Winery out of everything. Was it
Yeah, yeah.
like a hospital or like a bank?
Well,
or nothing?
alcohol is essential,
Literally.
right?
Oh.
right.
Alcohol. I'm sorry for Ashton, by the way. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no worries, dude. Don't
But
worry about it.
man, it's really weird. Like the liquor stores and a few other spots, just thanks. And other stores like that, they were kept open rather just gyms and important.
Yeah, the gyms being closed was absurd, but I do understand only because you can die from alcohol withdrawals that they do have to deem it an essential service. Because have you ever known somebody who drinks like an insane amount?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I've had known some people, if they don't drink, you see them start to turn yellow and stuff like that.
I mean,
Like old working class guys,
I know,
you know.
but like, come on, that shows how.
Oh, it's a
bad,
problem.
like,
It's a problem as
alcohol
a
has been
culture.
it's culturalized. They've been raised into it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I really
Do
don't blame
you
them.
not drink for a specific reason?
Yeah, I actually can't digest alcohol properly. I have IBS.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really hard on you. You feel like that's a bit of a blessing and a curse situation?
Honestly, to be honest, yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely is. To be honest, it is because obviously I've drank before. I'm not gonna say I've never touched a bottle. No. There's been moments in high school I've turned up. I've been out and party growing up in high school, but when those times came, it was just been like 2-3 shots and I'm good because thankfully I'm lightweight. It didn't take a lot to get me at least buzzed. There's been moments where it's been led to like passed out, like I'm fully like blacked out. Only because I'm probably cross mixing,
Right.
and then I just lose track of like how many intakes I'm doing, and then you're just over the ball. But
Yeah, and then it's not a good time or anything,
never a
anyways.
good
Yeah.
time, never a good time. But when I really found out I had IBS, the doctor mentioned that alcohol is really just a bad contributor to just your irritation and digesting it. I don't know, my stomach just very, very weak with it. Like just kills, man. So at least I'm happy for it because at least I don't have to spend bottles on it. I was never into drinking regardless of me not drinking it. Being like tipsy or buzzed or even drunk was never like, I never felt good, or even hangovers was horrible, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was never into that. I see how people were when they were partying and being at the club or
Oh yeah,
being
man.
around their friends. It's a good. Well, I can't say a good atmosphere, but it can bring good moments. I
Yeah,
can get to
yeah.
that. It can bring good
Exactly.
moments. I won't lie, but
It has
end
its
of the day,
moments,
it has
but
its moments. It's double-edged sword, man.
I think there's a measurable
The
amount
amount of good,
that's not.
definitely. For the
Yeah.
amount of good, it can do bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like you really have to have a good discipline on yourself for you to really drink it to a minimum where a shot a day is not going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who actually naturally have low, because every human body has a alcohol level, and we produce alcohol naturally, not to the degree to get you drunk,
Really? I
but
didn't know that. Interesting.
just for a bit to keep us moving. So having us like taking a shot or two just to be okay or just to go by is okay. I know people who do that. I don't judge or condemn them, but me personally, yeah, I can't digest it. So I
Mm-hmm.
just like, keep on with ginger ale or keep on with with any other drink.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I know more people who it doesn't enhance their life than it does, I think.
It's hard. Like I've rarely met anyone using it to really, and like you said, like to complement their daily living because they can't produce enough natural like hormones for the right levels of alcohol in their life, or if they're eating a lot of red meat, it's good to have a bit of alcohol to digest that, not to really get a lot of like heart problems if you're digesting a lot of red meat, stuff like that. Because you got to be conscious of your intake in your body, because what you put in always gonna have a whole effect on you.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
there's it's actually observed that there's these communities around the world. They call them blue groups, and these are people who communities in which a large amount of people live to be over 100. Like on average, the people live to be very old, but they find that a normal thing in these blue groups is that these people drink a very small amount of alcohol each day. It's just one of the many things they observe, but they don't. They have like one drink at dinner.
That's respectful because yeah, look at them. They probably have a good like eating and diet system where it just it's using as a contribution of digesting rather than just getting hammered and celebrating like hey, and turning up with the homies or celebrating.
Yeah.
Discipline is key for that though.
Yeah, it seems like it's almost not even worth the risk. Say the small amount of alcohol will have health benefits. A lot of people aren't even able to maintain.
It's
like they
hard.
won't have
It's
one
hard.
drink ever.
Because they don't see the benefit. That's I think that's why when they really don't understand the benefit or at least see it, they just abuse it.
Yeah,
So yeah, it can be said for almost a lot of things.
yeah, a great deal. Sometimes even healthy things, right? Like
True.
like we all, I think, have met people. Exercise is an addiction,
100%.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people lose control of that, I think.
Easily.
Like I've had friends that they train so hard they hurt themselves and then they can't train. Like
That's a fear.
that's always their cycle.
That's that's a bad cycle.
It's a bad cycle.
I'm glad for the years I've been training. I've been working out for probably 6-7 years.
Right on.
Never been like injured where I have to be out for a month.
Good.
Of course, I probably like almost popped my shoulder doing like some shoulder press, but that's the extreme. Thankfully, never pulled anything crazy. Probably maybe tore a muscle. That's that and like almost popping on my shoulder was the most limits. But aside from that, yeah, I'm happy that I never broke any bones in the gym. But yeah, when you do, it's really tough coming back because you really mentally you still have that like that slight PTSD and slight just fear of like, oh, what if it happens again? Even though you
For
keep
sure.
telling yourself, oh, we're all good, we're back. You've been to rehab, you're fully focused, you're physically there, but mentally you may not be there. So it happens to the best of us, but you just got to be careful.
Yeah, and even if you're say not quite there yet and you're too eager,
Oh man,
it could set you back so much
that's
longer.
even worse, bro. Yeah, even get yourself in setbacks even longer than you anticipate or even what you had planned out. Yeah, yeah. It's you got to be careful. I think for you to lift right, you just gotta have no ego. Just leave the ego at the door. Don't let anyone at least compete you to look bigger.
Compete against yourself only.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
You locked in with the man in the mirror. It's you.
Yeah. So what kind of training do you do?
For a while, honestly, not for a while. Since I started working out, it's always been like circuit sorry, circuit workout,
Mm-hmm.
full body workout, because I'd been taught, at least for the first orientation I've ever been at the gym I went to. I think it was a community gym in Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
No worries.
Edmonds Community Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a gym in Richmond. I forgot the exact address, but it's a nice gym. Yeah, I remember my rotation was a personal. I forget the guy's name. He's a personal trainer, but he just told me like make sure you balance yourself out when you're in the gym. Don't go here doing super arms or only arms one day. Try to get your
Mm-hmm.
legs and get your chest and core. I'm glad at least I had the right people, at least who I met in my life, to show the ropes early at an
Mm-hmm.
early age, because I started working at like 13, and I broke my ankle summer of grade 8 playing basketball. And that summer, I had everything planned out. I started working out, playing ball. Summer was great. And then I broke my ankle, so my whole summer was gone right when it started. And then going to high school with crutches and
Really?
yeah, trying to like adapt to what happened over the summer was took a bit a long time, but it made me more serious coming back in the gym, because it definitely was it ruined the flow and it ruined the routine of just working out and everything. But it made me more, at least it made me realize that my body is fragile and I have to be careful of at least working out and playing sports. So not just like don't be willing to do anything like any
Mm-hmm.
other sport, like just pick up a football or a hockey stick. At least do what I want to do, but just be diligent and just be mindful. Like
Yeah,
it's your
exactly.
body. Like it's
You only get one.
yeah, you only get one.
Oh man.
Definitely,
I learned that too late in life,
Yeah.
I think. Took me too
It's
long to
all good.
realize.
It's all good. Yeah, it happens, man. I'm happy that at least the bone broke for me to realize, like, all right, I gotta get myself more serious. Because if not, I would have been just still in the basketball route, trying to be in the NBA or something, or just something ridiculous. And then who knows if another injury could have arose on my
Mm-hmm.
career.
Yeah. Do you find it made it so you don't take your physical ability for granted?
I definitely.
You know, like after you hurt yourself, you're like, man,
Yeah.
I did not appreciate my body working normal.
Because you're just there sitting, man. Like,
Yeah, it's
man, for
torture.
the longest time, rehab was horrible, man. Because, oh, dude, summer, dude, it was horrible, but it was needed. It really was a good time to myself. A really mental focus of just understanding how to get better and just knowing what to do and what to put your values into more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think everyone needs a time like that, just a time to reflect or just to recollect of what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
to really gather the core elements and just to keep that intact versus what other distractions or whatever things you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right on. So you said you've been making beats for about 8 years.
yeah.
How long you been playing keys?
Keyboard probably 10 years.
Cool.
To be honest, yeah, because
Cool.
playing keys, making beats came after, definitely after playing keys. Sorry, yeah, making beats came after playing keys. I just forget the time gap though, because I remember I wasn't making music right away when I was playing the piano. Probably like I said, back in like when I was 12, 13, probably like grade 5, 4. I
Mm-hmm.
was playing around with the keys then. Kept it to myself. Never told any of my friends for a long time. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I was never really big, or I was open. Like, if you got to know me growing up, you got to know I was still friendly and funny, but I was never like on and crazy, like spontaneous, or even as open as I am right now
Right.
to network. But yeah, growing up though, I kept it to myself and still played the keyboard. At times, I try to use it to impress girls. I have to admit.
Sure.
Yeah, you always.
Well, that's what every guy does that with something they're good at, right?
Yeah, man. It was either that, because aside from the basketball, like growing up, I had to go through a lot of stereotypes and racism.
Really.
Yeah, being dark skinned. Yeah,
Mm.
no. Honestly, it was okay. It wasn't nothing ever extreme. Only one incident, but besides that, like education wise, it was okay. Like even though it was still racism, but it was at least a good reminder. Like, okay, I gotta at least. I'm
You found where you were going was it majority white students or just other
It was
students, not
majority oh yeah,
black
it was
students?
zero black. Like I was the
Yeah.
only black person there.
That's how where I grew up as a kid.
Yeah.
There was 3 black kids all related
Yeah.
in the school. They were the only ones that we
Yeah.
knew, and it was just like those are the black kids.
100%. It's always been like that growing up, even with the community as well. Living in Richmond, there's always like we're the black family in the neighborhood, we're the black kids in the school.
Really?
Always, not at times feeling like isolated, but at least from outside looking in, it's always just a lot of eyes on you, and there's always attention inadvertently just because of looking different, being different. But obviously, when you get to know me or when you get to know us, you just see it's all love and welcome. So
Well,
always-
certainly, right? That's even, I'm sure, with your family, right? Like people maybe assume something about you when you first
Definitely.
immigrated, and then
Definitely.
they might be surprised even to find out you're Christians and
Yeah.
you're super
it
important to
was
you.
hard to understand as a kid. Because you're a kid, you're experiencing that for the first time, not really knowing if they really like you for you or just they're doing this because you're black, or they're associating you because you're man. It was sorry, I'm repeating myself, but it was interesting, man. Like thinking back to them, just new memories are just coming in my head, because a lot of thinking back to it, it was definitely moments I could recognize people associated with me just because of my ethnicity, and just
Really?
for at least clout, if you had to
Really?
say. Yeah,
Like you felt
100%.
tokenized, right? Is the term?
Definitely,
Yeah.
tokenized, because he would say, "Oh yeah, it's Frankie, man. He's my friend." Yeah, and then and sorry, it would not only be around me, but people would tell that around me, because I don't know. I probably have good friends out there who look out for me. Just say, "Hey, this guy keeps saying that." Blah blah blah. I'm not out here trying to call anyone out, but just growing up,
Right, sure. Or behind your back and
Yeah,
stuff, people, call you something.
of course. But growing up, it took a while to understand. Like I got at least, there's always been the core group of friends and elements that I've kept to myself and kept within the circle, even till the day, who I've met in who I met in elementary school and that I still talk to today. So I'm fortunate enough to have in contact with them and still keep them around to at least help me navigate through all, at least like as you said, as I mentioned earlier, being an immigrant here, not really being familiar with the culture here. So being at least navigated or having aid is great when things don't go your way or things aren't welcome because of XYZ. But in life like that, it's all good, I think, because there's always hurdles and obstacles you got to face through to overcome, to come and understand, just to really appreciate life and appreciate your own background a little more,
Right.
rather than just being told you're from here. To really experience that you're from there is something else. Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand that difference, because they can say, "Oh yeah, I'm from XYZ, I'm from Africa, I'm from Kenya, I'm from this," but if they were raised here, they don't understand the struggles or the
Sure.
hurdles or the
Of the
hardships
culture, the
of
parents.
Actually, the culture of it, of being like Kenyan or being African or being black, regardless of even my ethnicity, of like
Right.
elsewhere, like of yourself, of being white or being whatever color you are. I feel like being a second generation of from my parents, it's good to understand, at least to understand your skin more, to be really at least more grateful for it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think also when there has been struggle attached to your heritage, people care a great deal about it, right?
100%.
Because it shows resilience that you're still
Definitely.
here, you're succeeding, or you're doing your
despite,
best.
Like and definitely it brings you back of like how knowing where you came from, like knowing where your roots are, got to keep on pushing it, just despite the hurdles or the trials. Yeah. It fuels the fire, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And faith doesn't hurt that any.
Definitely not. I think that's even, it complements it, because just makes you more spiritually in check and in line. Because I don't rely to fortune tellers or resort to any of like palm readers or any type of sorcery. But I believe in like spiritual warfare or spiritual side of things, of especially with music, man. Like if you're hearing it with lyrics, you're seeing it with music. Like there's double meaning within the lyrics that people are chanting or singing out these days. And I think you should really know what you're singing or what you're putting in your ears, coming back to music with that, because certainly a lot of us don't understand what our top writers or top artists are really writing, or what they're singing their soul into. It's like a spell, like lyrics that are being formed almost. It's very, very deep, I believe. Music is just a whole like supernatural power. It's almost irretranslatable, because anyone can understand it no matter where you're from, you know it's music.
On that note,
Yeah.
I was just thinking, how do you feel about the notion of when someone says an artist has sold their soul, right? Even there was that old blues guitarist, I can't remember
True.
his name. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but
Okay.
he was the first guy to say that people would rumor that he sold his soul to the devil for his guitar playing capabilities.
I mean, I think that's still true. I don't know the specific story that you mentioned of that guitarist, but in the notation of selling souls, yeah, I still believe that there's a contract like that, bro. There's stuff like that going out. People are actually selling their souls out there. They're not knowing what they're getting themselves into, and then when it's ready too late to get out, it's really too late because you sign in blood. You're signing yourself away, bro.
Yeah, there's lots of artists who have tragic stories about being owned by entities, right?
It. Like it's the biggest acts, like people who try to say, "Oh, it's not this, it's not true." That's what they want the narrative to be. They always want you to doubt the actual fact. So
one I had seen was those people who had died at that Travis Scott concert. I heard through someone else that there was speculation of it being something ritualistic.
To be honest, I don't know if it was ritualistic. Ritualistic. There we go. I don't know if I could put a finger on that, but I could say that whole affair was shady because footage of people who were actually screaming for help, like Travis was performing, you could have a peripheral vision of someone panicking versus someone turning up. I think
Right.
I've been on stage, not as big a stage as Travis, obviously, but I've been backstage or at least near stage.
You have literally a higher perspective.
Yeah, I've seen the perspective. That's what I'm trying to get to. I've seen that performance perspective. You have a clear understanding of how the crowd is, despite how big and the sea is. I don't know how mentally Travis was at that state of mind when he performs. I don't know if he needs any more enhancements or he's sober. That's for him. I can't say or judge, but yeah, I think they were just unprepared because even besides Travis not being aware, they were understaffed. They had only like few actual paramedics on.
Was that really the? I didn't know the details.
They were
That's what
actually
it was.
understaffed. They had way less staff compared to the actual crowd to even to
Like an irresponsible amount.
It was poorly managed, so it's not specifically Travis's fault. I think it was just someone just skipping a lot of steps to get the work done, and he had a tight deadline. Knowing him, and it was right near like the brink of like COVID regulations being finalized. So I don't blame him for just being the first act to be out since COVID to perform. There's always that need of being the first to perform. There's always that one because it's gonna sell more tickets, it's gonna get more market. It's always gonna bring more money at the end of the day. But yeah, I think it was just poorly managed because if you read into it or at least saw an interview about it, they're definitely understaffed compared to what they had. And because of it now, Travis Scott's trying to launch another like organization. I think it's called not Light. It's an odd term, but he's named it something else where it's trying to prevent any of these casualties now. But it's run by Travis Scott. So I think that's how it's an irony that he's doing this now because his whole message before, like he's been known as a rebellious musician of like, you gotta party even if the cops come, we're still gonna turn up. Even if your neighbors are complaining, we're still gonna turn up. Even if people passing out, we're still gonna turn up. That's his old demeanor. That's always been Travis Scott. So him doing this is completely like 180. So I don't know how it's gonna pan out.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's really like, wow. It's unfortunate that the death happened. I don't know if it may have been so. I don't know. I can't say it was sacrificed, but the way it happened was really weird, bro.
It was like a
really
conspiracy theory
That's
that I think
really
there's a
bad.
portal on the back of his stage setup, and that's what some people said that
I don't know.
They speculated
I
things
still
of the
believe, though,
occult.
that Hollywood, though, LA, there's a lot of like witchcraft and sorcery happening there.
Yeah,
100%.
I know.
Music, like, Hollywood as a whole, like, from movies to like commercials. Sorry to cut you off. But
Oh no, don't worry about it. I was just thinking, even Scientology, right? How deep that is in
my
Hollywood's
yeah,
veins.
definitely. They even branches out here, but it's crazy. There's a huge agenda. We're just little pawns, unfortunately. There's a bigger picture that's going at first. Because I forgot. Man, there's something happened recently definitely with between Canada and the States, that really made me aware, like, okay, there's a bigger agenda at hand, despite what's going on with COVID. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot what really happened, but it just made me just I couldn't even like miss it. Like, wow, they're really letting that go through just by what's going on. I forgot. Really forget, man. My bad.
But it made you feel like
Yeah.
as if there was a greater conspiracy
Definitely,
at
yeah. No,
hand.
it
Yeah.
brought that conspiracy side of it more to like, cause man, a lot of stuff that are going, a lot of stuff that's happening closed doors are just happening in front of us at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's a bit of both. We don't really pay attention to it. A lot of people were just focused on living or going to 9 to 5 or so focused on
Sure.
just doing our
To
own
survive,
thing. Yeah,
right?
no,
Yeah.
no problem on that. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
again, if you really just fine tune and find dial your eyes, or just you look in the right places, not nosing or looking or picking or trying to get yourself inadvertently involved, but you can tell, you can see stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a mixture, right? His name's Alan Moore. He wrote V for Vendetta and The Watchmen,
Okay,
and
yeah.
those graphic novels, among others.
Oh, V
But
for Vendetta, I remember now. Yeah, yeah.
but he had a quote that was, "People tend to be drawn to conspiracy theories because it's easier to deal with than the fact that life is disorganized chaos and no one is in control." And then I observe that quote, and I do think there's truth to it. But then I also see great deals of orchestration done by bigger and bigger entities, right? So it seems like a mixture where I do think life is chaos, but these groups observe enough of human nature and adjust to the circumstances of world events, of human behavior, of social phenomenons. I think they utilize them because they see what we're naturally drawn to, right?
True.
Like even just with technology, right? We love convenience. We want everything to be more and more
Especially 'cause
efficient.
Musically, we've seen the timeline. Efficiency is coming to like being convenient is a luxury now.
Yeah, man.
like,
Studio and your laptop.
Besides, like before I was even going towards that, I was thinking of more of like the actual music of listening, like Spotify and those streaming services, the streaming services that has built themselves up from a long time coming now, have really just taken over as a monopoly almost with Apple Music, but them have really like solidified that convenience of, oh, if you want all the access to music, pay this fee. It's being translated everywhere with like movie
Subscription culture.
Sorry, subscription. That's what I'm trying to get to. That subscription, lifestyle almost, because everything is implemented just at a cost for convenience now. Even to our internet now, they're limiting to the gigabytes of internet you're getting per month. Like, come on. Like before, you just pay a certain amount of like low speed or high speed. That was a difference. Now you see the prices, and that was it. And then if you went above like if you hit like your 100 gigabyte monthly thing, then you just get a certain limit or a certain wave or a notification. But man, times has really changed towards how much consumers are allowed to consume.
Yeah. I think it seems like in SAE, this was a big emphasis on the way that music business is changing, that you don't own anything anymore. Like, you remember the days of having CDs and how hard it was to have a catalog of music you could listen to throughout the week?
CD days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
But now it's
Good
just
time.
you, now you don't own the music, right? You rent it for a
Basically,
fee.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you are right with that. It's like we're in the we're in the, as you said, subscription phase or subscription lifestyle. Just things are, they're at our fingertips, but then the fees right behind it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with all the talk of the metaverse, we're getting to the point
man.
where you're gonna subscribe to
Yeah.
to experiences.
Do you support the metaverse?
I'm probably, when this technological evolution comes, I'll probably be somewhat of a reactionary. I'll be living by the old way. I'll go, I don't want your microchip. I don't want to live in the metaverse. I don't want an NFT.
Oh, good.
I'm interested in it though. I look
Yeah.
a great deal into it, but I know, some people have property. Some people, they own their NFTs in their like property from Snoop Dogg, their metaverse property.
Snoop Dogg especially, he's pushing NFTs.
Yeah, he's very involved.
Like,
a lot of people are.
He
the
wants
Paul
to be the
brothers.
first Oh, I didn't know Paul Brothers, but he wanted to be the first Snoop Dogg as who was I'm talking to. He wanted to be the first, at least hip hop artist to have a studio in the metaverse. So I think he's gonna get it done. He has the infrastructure, he has the money, he has the clients. He has
What does that even mean,
I don't
though?
know. Like it's Snoop Dogg, we'll see what it's gonna do. I'm still trying to understand what. Like how? Like think about it. You're gonna be like in your room. All right, I have a Snoop Dogg session.
And you're just
Like
getting down
like,
in your bedroom with these goggles on. You're alone. You think you're though with the boys.
he sets up a virtual Yeah, that would be nice if he sets up a virtual session with you, and he has like an in-house engineer. Welcome to the Doggy House, records or whatever his studio's name, and you're there like in the metaverse.
But then do you even get your? Let's say you record a great song. Let's say you make a great
my
song
gosh.
entirely in the metaverse. Do you get to bring it into
The physical world, bro. I don't know. That's what I'm scared.
into
There's gonna
reality?
be-
You'll
there's
have to
gonna be
live
so
on there.
many we're living to Tron now. They're gonna descend
Exactly.
on its own like second ecosystem of like the real life, and like we're already trying to understand social medias because at that point, sorry, at that itself, it's a different world being online and in person, and I don't want to have to differentiate between the metaverse and online and in person now. Like it's gonna be another category of life to keep up with almost. So.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
I see that what I see in human beings, I think it could take over real life. Like I think people might just want the convenience of you subscribe to your experiences, right? Like what if you could have any life you want, but it wasn't the real world? It's the Matrix.
No, I hope I'm not around for that type of ecosystem or culture, to be honest, because it reminds me of like a Black Mirror episode. I forgot which episode I watched. Because seeing, bro, I think it's the one where it's you based. Oh, it's the emotional currency one.
Yeah, the social credit.
Social credit. Oh, bro, I got goosebumps seeing that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very nasty, bro. I'm like, bro, no. Then I'm seeing Tinder like an hour later after watching that. I'm like, hey, this is not really normal.
Yeah, man, it's real though. You see the slow climb. That show is eerily. It feels like it's going to be accurate predictions.
It's like you're watching Family Guy with the way they're just foretelling the future. You're into that conspiracy of Family Guy is just inadvertently and blatantly just portraying the future with their stories and characters.
I've never seen that one actually.
Fall in the rabbit hole of that.
I'll look.
Deep. Like really, they foretold 9/11, Trump's presidency, a lot of stuff, bro. I think Columbine even, bro. Like it was really weird. Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Like just because the scripts, just I don't know, bro. And obviously you can tell it wasn't planned out, or it wasn't like a satire or bad joke trying to be like pushed in the market. No, it was just like them within their own storyboard, and you instantly know once that moment is mentioned, it brings back to what actually happened in real life. So it's really weird.
Some of those, like particularly Trump's presidency, you saw a lot of places like Rage Against the Machine. They had a music video that people had Trump for president signs.
Yeah, especially I was more. Oh my gosh, I was referencing to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's stuff like that. It's just you have to think if time travel exists, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, or do we
Like, I don't know.
or did Trump get the idea from just a sprinkle of the idea throughout the pop culture? Right? Did he get
don't know.
inspired from some people satirically
Maybe.
making the comments?
I don't know. That could have been a crazy inspiration. The Simpsons inspired Trump
Imagine.
inadvertently.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, I still think maybe. Or no, I think your reason or cause is more realistic than the one I had, but
Well, it could. I don't know. That's the fun thing about a lot of conspiracies is
yeah, you just roll the dice.
you don't know.
True.
Except for some, there are some that you're like putting lines together, just like things that would have been conspiracies many years ago, like a CIA operation that did
my
some
gosh.
horrible experiment on some people with some drug. People back in the day would have said, "No way, not my government." Now we all look at it and it's like a piece of history.
Yeah, true. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. People just they brush it off. Like, come on, we got better things to do.
Yeah, straight up,
Yeah.
straight up. Well, let's wrap it up. Do you want to plug yourself? You want to plug the studio, your handles?
Plug myself.
Yeah, like you want to leave your handles.
Oh, like
where
shut up,
people,
my bad.
yeah, where people can find it.
I was like, what do you mean plug myself? I thought
like,
we were plugged
like
in
it's
real
the plug.
quick. Yeah,
it's the
no.
plug.
Sorry, I gotta get used to
No
it.
worries,
Your-
no
your
worries.
Slang, Christian, man. You gotta keep me.
I picked that up somewhere. I don't know where I got it. That someone was like, "What's your plugs?" And now I just say it like, "Plug yourself."
Before I shut myself out, though, I was gonna ask, well, how long you
Hmm.
been playing drums? I remember you're a musician yourself. So how long you been doing that?
Oh, drums. Not very long actually. Like that time at SAE was the first I just started using the drum kit while at school. Like I had drummed a little bit before.
Wow.
And then I just started trying to utilize it because I, for the first time, had access to a drum kit and a
Yeah.
place I could play it. So I just,
Wow.
yeah.
No, that's good because
Took advantage.
You played well, man. You probably
Thanks.
learned just from a short amount of time. Quick learner.
Yeah, appreciate it. I appreciate
good.
it. Yeah, mostly I'm a guitar player, but yeah, I always wanted to play drums. I've just never had a kit or a place. You know, it's
Yeah,
hard. Like,
it definitely is, man.
to find
I
space.
respect you. Like, it's great with what you have, but having a drum set is just
Mm.
an almost. You need to have like a good amount of space for
you need
that.
a house or you need a studio, right?
Yeah, or garage or
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah. I want to get, though, there's some really good electric kits these days.
My dad had an electric kick. I think it was a Roland drum set. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
nice.
those are-
You can do headset and headphones and playing.
Mhm.
But you just have that rattle and like tap noise often when you're playing constantly because obviously outside people won't hear you playing drums, but we just hear a lot of tapping going on.
Right.
But
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
full on, just pretending you're performing and everything. So
Yeah, those are legit. I think
Yeah.
I've seen people get really good at drums on
is,
those.
yeah. And I've seen a few semi or like hybrid acoustic electric drums.
Yeah, me too, where they're just
Yeah.
thicker. I don't know what the deal is
Like,
with those, but it looks interesting.
It's like the rim or the drum top itself is electric, but the frame is acoustic.
Right.
So when you tap it, I think that's good because you can still get like I guess the same, almost like it's the same structure and the foundation still organic as a drum
Mm-hmm.
pad or at least a drum set, but then musically and audio wise at the back end you can always tweak every single tone and change the complete drum set without changing the whole kit.
Totally.
So I think it's almost best of both worlds. Like you can always input like a jazz kit, half and half, like a rock and jazz kit. You get something jazz cymbals with a rock kick or a nasty electronic hi-hat.
Yeah, straight up. That's even what I think about if I got it. I would like to program some drum kits and try it out or run it into like slate drums,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. No, yes, definitely you should think about it, but space is definitely the bigger picture of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's even the position I'm in. It's like I could do so much musically at home, just the power of a computer. But at the end of the day, it's if I say did all the work for an album, I would absolutely be going to a studio to record
Yeah.
drums or have someone record the
And
drums.
you know the difference of program and live drums.
Oh, man.
Regardless of just explaining it, just you feel it, you hear the difference. Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. They work for like the time being, or if you really just need something for drums in a track,
100%.
they're okay. They do the trick for sure.
And with technology, you can always just loop in.
Mm-hmm.
One good take could be just the whole track playing itself again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are even really intricate with the ones they come with the MIDI maps.
True.
Like if you wanted to, you could just use a jazz track if you really just wanted to do a guitar
Okay.
song. My friend Jackson would do that. That he'd take the pre-programmed MIDI packs from slate drums and then he would just make jazz songs over them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a good way of doing it, though.
Straight up, straight up. Do you play anything other than keys?
Well, I can probably make noise on a guitar still.
Yeah.
I can't play along to anything, but drums as well, making noise. Yeah, probably the keyboard is the only thing that's really just I'm good to go on and off switch professional wise.
Right. You stuck to it.
Yeah, I really embedded my roots into it because I really want to be known as just being as someone, not as just a musician playing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Be more specialized or more specialist to say. So
Cool.
yeah, definitely. It's been it's been coming out in my favor of just being specific to keys because everyone's always looking for a piano or at least a melody.
Yeah. You get hired to do tracks for people.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
badass,
It's
man.
been coming through a lot of clients. And fortunately, they've been asking me to play the keyboard, or if not the keys, any other instrument, or at least produce for them. Yeah.
Badass, man.
And lately, I've been trying to at least, well, not trying to, but it's been it's been coming to me naturally, but because of that, I've been thinking about it to at least just getting back into playing live
Mm-hmm.
because playing live, I've always been playing live at church every Sunday, so that's always
Right.
been natural and accustomed to playing live. So, and actually, I used to take a course. I used to take a course in Palmer Secondary jazz band. That's where I got better at jazz improvisation. Shout out Mr. Dakudo, my band teacher. He taught me a few good techniques and gave me advice and showed more ropes of being a better improviser and being playing live. And just yeah, playing live is totally they gave me just another what how can I say another not advantage but another just another like utility under my belt of just being more experienced and being more adjusted more capable of like more gigs rather than just studio or recorded work.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always going to be times you got to play it live or times you just got to yeah just you never know.
Probably eliminated lots of the anxiety you'd have from something like
Definitely, yeah.
that.
Oh, 100%. But I would say, yeah, there's been times where I've messed up though. There's been days where I'm prepared or have gone to rehearsal for X amount of days, and then the show comes and I can't play anymore. Just I'm frozen on the stage. So it definitely came up a long way, man. It's been a long time coming. So
Yeah.
very just now I'm thankful at least I taught myself enough where if I'm seated behind any keyboard, hearing anything, I'm gonna do my best to play along with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What styles do you find yourself mostly
I think
playing?
I'm finding myself playing more classical jazz or jazz gospel. It's definitely with jazz because once I learned jazz, that's when I gravitated to other genres, and that's where at least because I always viewed jazz as the most pinnacle genre to learn, at least the hardest, because there's a lot of like swing. You gotta understand swing, and you gotta understand like
The bizarre
yeah,
chord
there's so
schemes.
much like what's the word? Um, no, there's so much. I just had it. There's so much. There's a lot of foundation for jazz,
Hmm.
but once you understand that foundation, it bleeds to other genres. So it'll be
Right.
easier to understand and pick up what is being told within the rock scene, pop scene, hip hop, etc. Because jazz, I don't know why, it gets so complicated for no reason. But then you understand why it is, and then you hear the music of how this my bad, of how the swing is just keep on going, and the drums, people are just grooving like that. And yeah, like, yeah, it definitely takes a bit to find that groove or at least to pick up that jazz groove. But when you get it going, man, it's just, oh, it's so nice. You just understand and you keep going.
Do you think that's particularly why you like it helped you be so comfortable with improvisation?
100%,
Cool.
100% because improvising is definitely it's a jazz staple of like almost any genre.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
going to be a solo from either, even the artist sometimes you can do is beep bop bop bop, still improvising.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
rapping, but he's improvising.
For sure.
Yeah, even with the instruments, the guitars, keyboard, even the drum and solos, everyone gets a chance to do their own improv. So knowing what you can do within the keys that you're playing in is very important because there's gonna be the foundation of what you have to follow, and then boom, they're gonna leave it out to the trumpet to do a solo, and then you're just gonna go off for a bit. You either might play smaller, softer notes to support a solo, or just don't play at all.
Right.
Yeah, so you just have to understanding that also gave me a good understanding towards lyrics because now I'm picturing like whenever I make beats is always towards vocals and artists, not just instrumentals. But they can be used as instrumentals. Regardless of that, I always have at least the artist in mind. So I always leave room for the vocal within my melodies and production. So even mixing wise, I like to leave room there because I don't know, that's my way of production. I don't really I can't I could make a soundtrack. I think I can. I know I can make a soundtrack, but my forte and what I really get comfortable in is when I produce towards lyrics.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, and having said that, I always like to have minimal, at least a good foundation within the keys and drums, but then again I leave a nice spot EQ wise even for the vocals or whoever's writing to it.
Right. That's even that's a big thing I've heard pushed by really successful producers is learning to have room for the artist to still
Yeah.
go on the track.
Like playing minimal just but not playing minimal like playing out simple or minimal keys can sometimes be affected as a complex term to someone writing. Everyone experiences music differently, so you never know. You playing just those two chords is giving someone a good melody or inspiring them to write a good rap or XYZ. It's just getting the band or start getting things just in a forward motion. So yeah, I think having said that, of playing minimal or doing improvisation at times, finding the good balance of knowing when to do what is important,
Yeah.
especially as a producer, of having a good listener and as a good engagement towards a listener, because now they really don't know what to expect unless they heard the track already.
Right.
They're just so like, wow, they're engaged. Yeah, it's just engagement. You're trying to keep them in versus them just, oh, I know what to expect. The drop is happening there, trumpet is here. Yeah, I don't know. That's my production. I've always tried to keep my listeners more engaged.
Right.
It's always been like, I always picture a show in my head, so that's where I'm trying to at least want the audience or the artist to feel as well. There's the show happening, you feel the vibe, and that's the vibe. It's always the emotion that I want an artist to feel or even listener to feel whenever I produce. So if you can feel a way or feel some type of way because of that beat, then I know my job has been completed.
Yeah, you're really looking to inspire with it.
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
on.
not only inspire, but like even like, yeah, I guess inspire would be a way to say. I was gonna say motivate, but it boils down to inspiration as well.
Right.
So yeah.
Right on. Very cool, dude.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I remember hearing your stuff at school, and I thought it was just all awesome.
Thanks,
like can tell you've been doing it for a long time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very quality.
Yeah, I've always liked putting more time into it because it's always something you're gonna listen to over and over again. So might as well be something you want, like at least to be the best polished. I understand there's gonna be times you have to push music out when you're under pressure or when you're under a certain budget or schedule, but I don't know. Just overall, I think music should be just at least just have fun with it as well, but put time into it as well. Like
Right.
that balance, that perfect like level of just professionalism and just being almost a kid with it at the same time.
Yeah, you really you get out of it what you put in.
Yeah, true.
Right on.
True.
Word
Get
up.
what you give.
Yeah, exactly. Right on.
Shout out Christian though.
Me?
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. You want to wrap it up there?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, okay. Instagram is Frankeyz. I think it's 4 Z's after keys.
I'll add a link.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, man. I appreciate
sure.
it. But Frankeyz and studios, Multiverse Studio, YVR on Instagram. Shout out Jacob. Shout out Kid Filthy. Shout out Christian. And yeah, shout out Vancouver, man. We're going to put the city on the map.
That's right.
Yes,
I'll post
sir.
links to all of it, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
Right on.
it, man.
Thanks a lot
Can't
for
wait to
being
be
here.
back. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for having me.
We'll have you again. I want to come see the studio.
100%.
For sure.
We should have episode 2 there.
Okay, let's
be
do it.
great.
Let's
Yeah.
do it. I'd love to,
Yeah.
dog.